Name is Sergeant Robert Stanforth. I've been on the force here at the 3rd Precinct in Arkham for going on 10 years now. It hasn't been getting any easier to deal with the scum of the mob and other criminals every day. The only saving grace is that I know everyone that I catch and lock up is one more that can't hurt or kill someone else's family ever again. I've seen some strange cases in my day, and I dealt with some sick people. What has happened to the station shall be forever burned in my mind. It all started when I arrived at the station, drinking my morning coffee to help me wake up from a fitful night of tossing and turning. I was sent to the chief's office because he wants me to take a follow-up statement of a man that was attacked on public ground and to get any information of a potential kidnapping of a woman named Greta. When I arrived at the hospital, I was directed to a room of one Zed Miller. He seemed to be ill at ease due to the scars across my face. He didn't want to talk to me for several minutes until finally I said the only way I can help him is if he told me exactly what happened. He ended up telling me this is the 3rd time he's had to tell the story, but he says that he was at the library helping out his girl get some new shelvings installed when all of a sudden a man completely covered in black shows up and threatens Greta and him over a book inked in blood. It describes the scuffle and how he wants to know where his girl was and why am I not looking for her. I sadly tell him we are looking, but we don't know her current whereabouts at this time. After taking the testimony of Zed Miller, I went back to the station to see if there's any other perpetrators that wore similar clothing that could be evolved. I found an obscure case involving something about a group breaking into a shop that sells antiques and got away with several items ranging from value from a couple dollars to a few hundred and seemingly randomly junk, in my opinion anyway. But what does a cop know about antiques? When I got to my desk, I got a call from a friend of mine from I knew back in college, Mr. Barton Faraday, a local political up-and-comer that was apparently just recently given a speech involving Zed. What a coincidence. He calls and tells me that his house has been broken into and he wants me to check into it. I go to investigate the house and come across the front doors ripped from their hinges, and I have to walk across the gruesome scene of the mutilated dog. I try to calm Barton down, but he still seems to be somewhat distressed about the whole situation, making it harder to get any answers from him. After getting him out of the room, I was finally able to get him to calm down, and he's able to tell me how he come to the house after a rousing speech earlier that day and saw the remains of his faithful companion, the messenger written out in blood. After I set him down with a cup of coffee to try to keep him calm, I go back into the living room to see if there's any other clues to find out about the person that could do such a horrible thing. I search around the house, and luckily I find a strange dagger that is coated in blood shoved into an air vent. It seems to have a strange symbol in the hilt and carve a star right above the blade. I've never seen something like it before, but I'm more used to using my gun than any type of blade. It must be maybe some weird religious nut or political crazy. It seems like someone wants my old friend Barton to back out of the political arena. It's not looking so good for my old friend. I go back to talk to Barton to see if he has any known enemies. The only one that he could think of would be his political rival, Mr. Cretan, who did not think that he would go to such lengths to get him out of the running for the potential of mayor. I call the station to have a junior officer sent to go check out the whereabouts of Mr. Cretan for the past 24 hours, but he comes up with a clean alibi. I ask Barton if he wants me to take the dog away, and he agrees very reluctantly. So as I'm taking the dog, burying it in the backyard, I suggest he should come stay at my apartment for the night till he can have the blood cleaned up. Most normal people can't stand the sight of blood, but we get used to it after a while, unfortunately my kind of work. He agrees, and I give him a ride in my car and have someone watch over the house for the night. As we're getting into my car, I just start to think that there's a madman on the loose. Maybe I can use this to have the Italians looked into. They must be backing someone politically. My friend Barton is the lead candidate to help get them out of town, but I'm not going to hold my breath. They're more slippery than a greased-up fox. I head back to the station to turn in my report and have my paperwork turned in, and then get ready to take Barton and myself home for the night. He seems to be settling down now, but I want to keep an eye on my old friend. On the way home, I start to wonder how far we he'll have to go to get all the psychos like this off my streets and behind bars once for all. While passing a normally calm intersection, I look over to see that Barton has fallen asleep. It must have been a stressful day for him, and unfortunately it looks like it's only going to get worse. Suddenly, I feel something wrapping around my neck. I struggle, but I start to drive off the side of the road. I look behind me in the rearview mirror and I see someone smiling sadistically. He leans in and whispers, "You should have left it alone, but now you're too late to stop it." He wraps the rope around my neck and ties it to the back of the chair and jumps up from the back of the squad car. My struggle wakes up Barton, and he tries to get the rope off my neck, and as I'm about to pass out, I swerve at the last minute not to hit some fancy-looking man crossing the road, and I crash on the fence, blacking out.